Ryan Vigalis. I think I was finishing a swallow during that intro, so I'm assuming your mum's around somewhere, but typically she's the one swallowing. But yeah, we're going to talk about No More Heroes. I'm going to talk about this game and how I feel about it and how it's opened up a lot of questions. It's a very interesting one. Like, it's one of those games where I don't really know how to quantify this. I don't know what rating to give it. I don't know how to review this exactly. I honestly think my score is one that, I'm going to put on it now, and then I'm going to look back at it and go, there's no way. No, I don't agree. It should have been this, or it should have been this. But I do want to, sort of like give a recommendation or not to this game. But it just opens up the question of like, how much can you get away with when your process is unique, when your game is unique? How much production can you sacrifice for uniqueness? And how important is that? And, you can have an experience where it's very bare bones, but it's doing something unique and something different that people attach themselves to and they absolutely love. And, that's fantastic. A game like Inside is, one of my favorite, well, maybe not one of my favorite games, but it's an absolutely tremendous game. And it's a very bare bones side scroller, but it's just a stunning game. And, I absolutely love that. They do a lot with what they have. No More Heroes 3 is so interesting. It's a Suda51 game. I learned recently. It was a surprise dropped onto Game Pass. I know of a few Suda51 games. I've played some Suda51 games. Shadow of the Damned, Lollipop Chainsaw is one of his. And obviously this is one of his too. I really like Shadows of the Damned, and I thought Lollipop Chainsaw was cool. I think Shadows of the Damned is better than this, purely just because when I was playing Shadows of the Damned, I was like, oh, this is awesome, this is really fun and goofy and referential and crazy. Whereas with this, it feels like there's definitely an attempt to be that again, but I think that a lot of the sort of things that hold the gameplay back kind of hold the game back overall. First things first, I mean, look, I know I don't record in the best quality. I record from the Xbox Game DVR and I upload it to OneDrive and it goes through rendering, and I understand that. So don't look at the resolution, but look at the graphics and the detail and the physics more than anything. Like, okay, the graphics you can get away with. There are some places where this actually looks okay, but the physics are just awful. They are not good at all, and not in terms of combat. Actually, I should say that. I should qualify that. But in terms of this is an open world game, and you drive around in a vehicle. It's one of the worst controlling vehicles that I've ever used in a video game. Running around in that open world doesn't feel very good at all either. A world that honestly feels very empty and like this just doesn't feel very alive at all. Now, there are various different worlds, and you do swiftly move from world to world to world, so that's kind of cool. It almost feels as though really it being open world wasn't necessary, and I really do mean that, because to be honest with you, the structure of the game I am not a fan of, but the combat of the game I absolutely am. And I think if you'd thrown away the way that this game is structured and just focused on the combat and moving forward and forward and forward and forward, I honestly would have liked the game a lot more. So currently this is, like I said, it's an open world game, but the way that it works is that you run around the world looking for objectives to do in order to earn cash. Once you have enough cash, you can withdraw that and you can do a boss, and then you work your way up this leaderboard of bosses. But it's like this weird system where you would think, given that it's not a very graphically intense game, that they can do a lot with it. But once you start an event, you have to load into that event. But then the event, and by event I mean like any side mission that you would do in order to earn cash, you have to load into it, and there's 3 enemies in a zone. It would be it's kind of like Pokemon, except these people aren't out in the wild, so it's not organic, and you have to load your encounters with them, which is just. Again, we're on the Series X, right? And I understand that it's a Switch port. I totally get that it's a Switch port, but at the same time, it's like I said, it is running on the Series X, and given everything else that's on the platform, it's just difficult to be like, never mind. However, I will say the reason it's so difficult. I adore the combat here. I absolutely love the combat. The combat is super fun. Chaining attacks, awesome. The combat itself is tremendously smooth. I love the fact that you can just throw a suplex in there. That's super fun. The dodging feels great. The fact that you can slow down time during a dodge is fantastic. I really enjoy the boss battles. The bosses look very unique, and the gameplay against the bosses is absolutely great. I like the jackpot system where you just randomly get like handed things and you can end up in this giant mech suit and absolutely slay ass. I love how like wacky it is and zany it is, and how you'll be doing one thing and then something entirely different the next second. And it's like I said at the head of this video, I love how unique this is. You fly around from place to place to place, and I will say, despite its myriad of shortcomings, I still enjoyed coming back to this game. I still enjoyed loading it up and wanted to play more and didn't want to stop. And isn't that the mark of a good game? Isn't that fun? Yes. Is it a great game? I don't know. I guess objectively, no. Do I think it's amazing? I kind of. Is it amazing? I don't know. But I'm going to put that tag on it now. Screw it. I love a game that tries something different. I love a game that does something that other games are afraid to do, and I guess Suda is very famous for that. So screw it, let's put an amazing on it now with an asterisk, like a strong great to light amazing. I'm really sorry for how non-committal this video is, but there you go, that's the way the cookie crumbles. I'll see everyone later.
The PlayStation is only $149, and you can also get leading titles.